Hey CDA, and welcome back to Oddsparks, where I'm currently waiting for my last 4 copper ingots to be produced so I can finish up the last remaining quest of tier 7. As you can see, we've completed all of those. We also completed all of the monument upgrades through tier 7. So that means we're now up to tier 8, and that seems to be a smaller tier once again because we just have a couple of things to do here. Anyone want to bet that's going to be one of those famous last words things? Anyway, yeah, we have all of those requirements, and since the Woodsman was so interested in growing these special plants, I decided to help him out and give him a dedicated area for it. It's quite a large area, but we can always have more plants. Well, I have a feeling that means we can expand the village a little bit. I just don't know where it is. Where's the research garden? Am I missing something? It's in this... Oh, it's in that direction? Okay. So why can't I see it on my map? Oh, it's actually over there. So it's across the bridge. That makes sense. Finally, we have something for this bridge to actually go for. Okay, so that means we need some people to work at that. I guess any type of thing works. Here we go. And... Ooh, that looks really pretty, actually. So, are we gonna making some plants here? There is a lot of, I don't know, random stuff here. So the interesting thing is that every now and then on these pillars across the town, there is random items as well. Let me see if I can find you an example. It is not really something you can rely on to farm, but, you know, it's kind of nice. Is there any pedestals? Yeah, so for example, over here, there's a pedestal that actually has an ether crystal on it, which is like a very valuable item. I'm not entirely sure what spawns them, if it's a completion of a quest or something else, but there's quite a few of these things across the town. And they seem to be, you know, filling themselves back up every now and then. You can see a drill bit over here, and so on. Anyway, I have a few new quests to pick up, so I'm going to do exactly that. Okay, and I got the quests, and it looks like we need geoclusters, refined ether, and stellar fertilizer. The first and the last one I can't make yet, but the refined ether I actually already have in production over here from the last episode. Now, I doubled up on the amount of what is this called raw ether production over here. That should very easily make this while we're doing everything else. I already have 35 refined ether and I only need 400, so, you know, that is a thing. Now, let's see, we need geoclusters and we need stellar fertilizers, and we have some quests to do that. The geo breaker over here is something we can already unlock. This will apparently allow us to, well, break all the different types of geodes that we have already been finding and get some useful stuff out of that. All we need to do is turn in some copper ingots and some crangolin skills. And just killing a couple of crangolins gave me all the materials I needed, and I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna do with this, because it seems that I have plenty of all of these resources anyway, but, you know, it will also lead us to the next quest. So let's see, what is that? See, we want a geode cluster, we need those anyway, and then we can break those down into other geo clusters in a result. Well, okay, that doesn't seem like the best way forward for this particular episode. On the other hand, we do have this quest over here, Microclimates, which just requires some glow shroom and stellar ice, both of which I've already been collecting since the last episode. These are pretty plentiful. And that is going to give us a whole bunch of new recipes. Quite a few, actually. So let's go and unlock that. And turning in that quest gives me another one that allows me to use some of these things that I can now make, and that is going to allow me to build an arboretum. That's a larger version of the greenhouse, apparently. We need some coral seeds, we are already producing those, but we also need some lava caps and stellar fertilizer. Before we get into that, however, I also have a quest that is going to need some drill bits, and we're currently only producing the copper ingots here anymore. We have quite a few of those, so I think we can repurpose this furnace over here to start making drill bits once more. Okay, something like this. I turned this furnace a quarter, and now we are feeding it some of the ingots that I'm making over here, but half of the ingots are going to go into this supply chest, just because I'm going to need some of those as well. Now, okay, let's see. How do we make lava caps? Okay, so we need to turn glow shroom and stellar fertilizer into fire shroom that we can then turn back into glow shroom. And if I did my math correctly, we need 20 glow shroom in order to make these, and then we get 25 out of the same amount back. So at least this is a glow shroom positive. And we get the lava caps on top of that. Now we need the fire shroom clusters, we need the lava caps, so this is all going to be awesome. But of course, in order to make this, we are going to need to make some stellar fertilizer. And how do we make that? Well, we need fertilizer, and we need to add in some stellar leaves. Now, I'm actually kind of wondering, how do I make stellar leaves? We need stellar seed and volcanic soil, or we need stellar leaves and we can turn them into stellar seed and stellar ice. Okay, I don't know how to get stellar seed. So let me check. Oh, we can extract that from stellar ice, apparently. Okay, so let's see. We have stellar ice into stellar seed, and we can do stellar seed and volcanic soil into stellar leaves. Then we can do stellar leaves back into stellar seeds. Is this positive? Yeah, it is stellar seed positive at least. Now the real question is, how do I get volcanic soil? Is that gonna be in the mountain thingies? Huh. Cave? Cave. Volcanic soil, how do I make this? We don't, apparently. Well, we can make quite a bit of it, so that's not really the problem, but, we don't really have a loop so we can make volcanic soil reliably from the looks of it. Oh well. Okay, so let's see. We want to build some stuff. We want a plant extractor, and I'm gonna put it down over here. So it's right next to the frozen log cutting operation I have over here. Now I actually have over 100 stellar ice already. So what we can do is simply put in a big crate over here. Something like this, and we can take some of that stuff and then put it in here. And then of course we do want to make sure this is actually processing that stuff. So there we go, and then we can add in a nice little box over here, and that should do the trick. Let's add in an additional one over here, and of course we do need someone to actually work this thing. So there we go. Now this is going to produce some stones. It's going to produce some stellar seed. I don't particularly care about the stone. So what we can actually do is something like this. Then I can set up a item filter over here. And then only allow stone to get through. So let me get some stone. Let me put in a stone like this. Now this should no longer allow anything to pass through here unless it's stone, and if we do have stone passing through, then we want a compressor. Let's see, where are you? Here. Something like this. So yeah, the stone passes through, and you can throw that out because I don't think we are in a particularly need for stone, and if we do, we have plenty of that in production already. Okay, so we have some of those stellar seeds now. Then I can take a greenhouse and add some volcanic soil and make stellar leaves. That needs to be in a coal area though, so that means we're gonna produce that completely in a different area. Okay, so how about this? I have a greenhouse here now that's gonna use some seeds and volcanic soil that is in this box over here because I don't have a way to automate it just yet. And that's gonna make the stellar leaves. Then I have some of those stellar leaves going to go into this box, and then some of them back into the system for some additional stellar seeds, which are going to be fed right back into the system here. And we're also going to get some stellar ice out of that I can actually then use to get more seeds and stone. So all in all, this is going to be net positive. The only problem is that I would kind of want to have the extractor for the blocks right next to here as well, because that would just completely automate that. Can I do that? I can probably do that, right? So if I build another plant extractor like this, maybe, and I set this to extract from the blocks. It's 4 to 1. And this is going to be very slow. But yeah, this should work, right? So all I need to do is take out this and do it like that. And then this thing over here can loop all the way back and feed back in here. And then we still have the stone that we don't need, so we can siphon those off with a compressor like this. It's not pretty, but it should work. Is it going to be particularly efficient? I don't know. But some of this is going to go in here, some of this is going to go in here. So yeah, this should start working now. So we get 3 seeds back. So every 10 leaves, basically, because we are producing 20, we get 10 are going to be split off, 10 are going to go in here. So 10 of these are going to produce 15 seeds and what, 25 blocks? And those 25 blocks are going to produce 4 seeds. So yeah, that's almost exactly what we need in order to keep the greenhouse running if it wasn't for the volcanic soil. Okay, well, it's a bit of a complicated thing, but it should work. Well, the soil is running a little bit out quickly to my taste, so I am gonna do this. Hold on. That's not what I wanted to do. I'm gonna set up a little station over here that is going to break me some geodes. Now, the way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna set up a box or 2 over here. This is gonna produce quite a bit of stuff, I think. And I am gonna put a... probably a couple of the small crates, actually. Hold on. Something like this. I think I have 3 different types of random geodes, yeah. So we have the cracked version, we have the shiny version, and we have the bumpy version. And then, let's see, we put in some of these carrying dudes. Let's do this. And assuming I have anyone to work this, which I don't right now. Yeah, I don't think I need to have a specific... Well, do I need to set a specific recipe for this? Actually, I don't know. Let's find out. Well, it seems the answer is yes, I do need a specific machine dedicated for every resource or a different type of input, which is a little annoying, but you know, it is what it is. I am producing a whole bunch of volcanic soil now though, so I can just take all of this out and put it right in here, and that should keep this running for quite a while. Okay, so this is actually a very easy way to produce the volcanic soil, even though it's manual, which is kind of annoying. It doesn't need that much attention because this will keep running for quite a while. Now, I have some of these stellar leaves, so let's turn them into fertilizer. Okay, then let's pick up an alchemy lab, and I don't know, we can keep it simple probably. Let's see, we can set that up over here, then we can have a little bit of a box. Let's say that one goes right over here, and then over here we can have another little box, and that is going to collect the fertilizer. That's going to go in over here. That is where the leaves are going to go in. I brought some of those with me. Let's see. We need some people to carry that stuff. Oh, wait, I need to set the recipe. I was wondering why it wasn't going in the actual machine. There we go. Okay, so let's start the production over here. The optimal temperature is 3, but it's close enough. We're still at 100%. And then, of course, we just need someone to actually put the stuff in the box over here. Is this going to be quick? Nope, but it is going to be producing at least. Now, what I am noticing is that we have quite a lot of recipes that are relatively slow, that need stuff from all over the place. Some of it cannot actually be automated just yet. Not my favorite design, I'll have to say. Of course, in some cases, it's just a matter of building more of that, so I doubled up on the greenhouse. Now, again, we still don't have the volcanic soil automated, so I am going to run out of that sooner or later, but at least this makes sure that I can grab some more of those stellar leaves, which means I now get to teleport back to where I'm actually producing my fertilizer, and then we should have the initial fertilizer we need to get going. Okay, so let's see. That's a pretty similar setup as we've done a few times now. So for the greenhouse, we want some globe shrooms, which I have plenty of. I don't know, something like that. We are gonna feed in the stellar fertilizer. It's gonna be like that. Now this is gonna be producing some fire shrooms colonies. This is gonna produce 10 of them. And then this is going to turn into a whole bunch of these mushrooms again. And these are gonna be recycled over here. And actually, hold on, I probably want to move this up a little bit. Make another one of those, move everything up here a little bit. let's see, delete this one. Make sure this one is a little bit longer, and then... Now the reason I'm doing this is that I wanted the shrooms to go in here, but if there's too many shrooms, I want them to be recycled, and this should take care of that. Of course, I do need to make sure I actually extend this road here a little bit as well, otherwise the things will actually reach. But yeah, this way it doesn't get stuck when it overproduces the shrooms, because it will be doing exactly that. Now, the fire shrooms are going to go in here, the lava caps, I mean, that's what they're called, right? Just double checking if I'm producing the correct thing. Now, what I do need is a whole bunch more of this fertilizer, because we're going to need 100 of these lava caps. Now, honestly, that is not that much, because we are going to be producing 5 of these, 2 of the fire shrooms, so it's not that bad. And we actually also need stellar fertilizer for this quest itself. Okay, so basically what I need to do is I need to make sure I have enough volcanic soil to do all of this. Okay, so just farming some stone in the cave gave me a whole bunch of these things, so that's gonna, well, produce a fair amount of this stuff. Actually, let's see, 1 geo turns into, well, a full stack of that soil, so that is... It's gonna last me for a little while, which is a good thing, because I was nearly running dry already. I'm getting a whole bunch of other things as well, by the way, that I don't really have a use for, but, you know, it is what it is. I could, in theory, run a couple of furnaces or something like that on all of that coal. And the copper ore is nice as well. I don't really need the mushrooms, but... Well, free stuff is free, I suppose. Now, this is 2 of these greenhouses working at full speed, so that's really nice. And now we are getting a fairly decent amount of that, those starflowers. And then picking up some fertilizer, we go back to the cave and we kind of come a full circle, because here is where I'm gonna deposit that fertilizer. Over here, and as you can see, I now have a fair amount of that stuff without too much work. So even though it feels a little tedious, we have half the amount of fire caps that we need already. So, you know, it is what it is, but this should make sure that we complete the cycle soon enough. Now, do I need to... I'm actually just gonna put in a little bit of those fungi that I found over here, just to make sure this keeps running. The main problem might be that this is too quick. Huh, that's interesting. So this might actually, this machine might not be fast enough to keep up with the production that we get from the plant extractor over here. Which is an interesting problem to have. I'm not entirely sure if that is how it works. I can cover some of that by adding in a few more carriers, because the carriers, of course, can just act as a little bit of a buffer. But... I think it should be alright in general. Okay, so now we have the lava caps, we have the stellar fertilizer, and we have the coral seeds. We should be able to complete the botanical R&D level 1. Okay, and that means we can now turn in this quest. We get the Arboretum as well as the Arboretum feeder. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but, you know, we can now start making these geo thingies as well. The real question is, do I want to do that? I mean, I guess so, but I also want to unlock the heater and the cooler. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be using these, because right now I'm just doing manual feeding, and even though it's a little bit tedious, it's actually more efficient than building a train that's gonna take me more time to actually do that around a couple of times. So anyway, we need fire shroom clusters and stellar leaves for that. We have both of those in plenty supply. Okay, so I turned in the quest for the heat and cooling mechanisms, and now we got a new quest that requires an ice horn ram horn. That's really annoying to say. Some comb from a lava shell horse as well. I have plenty of those actually. And we need to reach 100% efficiency in any building, which we can easily do. Now we have those coolers and heaters available to us, so let's check out how they work. Okay, so the heater costs some fire shrooms along with the combs, and then we have the cooler being the ice blooms as well as the ram horn. So I'm gonna have to kill some creatures, I guess. Be right back. Okay, so let's take a look at the cooler, because if I'm not mistaken, we want these to run at something like -5, yeah. And they're currently running at -2, so if we can cool this down a little bit, that should be nice. Cooler has a nice little radius. Do we want to cool this as well? Optimal temperature -3. Huh, interesting. So, I don't know. It doesn't have an in and output. That's interesting. So if I build this like this, it doesn't actually have an in and output, so I just put sparks in there. Ah, it's gonna reduce the cooling level by 1. Ah, interesting. So this one actually wants to be at +3. Okay, hold on. So right now it's at -4. So we want to move this thing up a little bit. Is that how that works? Let's see, this should put the other building out of range, right? Huh. Well, something is running at 150%, so this is this one, right? So this one is now running at 150% because it is working at -3, which is exactly where we want it to be. And then these are now working at -4, so we actually want a second cooler. If we would want to optimize that, can I build a second cooler? Yes, I can. I do not want to catch the other building in there. So I would need to build it like that, I guess. And then just put a single spark in there. Is that how that works? So why is it now not at -5? I can't stack these. Is that how that works? Ah, okay, yeah, so they don't seem to stack. Well, actually, that's sort of nice, because that means I don't have to over-optimize this at all. So yeah, this is now gonna be producing at 125% speed, I guess. Okay, is that worth it? I don't know, but what I really want to know is if the other ones work the same way. So, hold on. Here, yes. A heater. If I heat up the ice up here. Hold on. Actually, let me check. Where do I need to go? Let's go here, because there's a pretty thin piece of the ice over here, I think. Yeah, here. This is really nice. Might be intentional, I don't know. Considering the map is randomly generated. Probably just pure luck that that's like it is. But I am wondering if I put a heater here, and then I put a couple of these dudes in here. Is this gonna melt the ice? Well, technically, I guess if you want to melt ice, you need 2 of these, right? Because we need that to be at positive temperatures. But I can't stack them. No, I guess that's not the way we remove the ice. Fair enough. I mean, it was worth a try. But don't try to apply too much logic to your factory games, guys. I guess that's the bottom line. Oh well, at least I can turn in the quest now, and that means that we can start overclocking all that stuff. Now, if you take a quick look at the logger, you'll notice some new recipes, but only the difference is that these have an optimal temperature. Ah, okay. So if I want to overclock these things now, let me... Oh, hold on. That was not what I wanted to do. If I now go to one of my loggers... So right now it is just working at 90 per minute. But if I want to overclock... it would need to run at -3. But I can't get it to -3 if I can't stack these coolers. Because this is 0, right? Yeah, so... Huh. Also, I don't really need to overclock these things. I have more than I know what to do with at the moment anyway. Anyway, I guess it's a nice feature, but not the most impactful at this stage of the game, I don't think. So, we want to have 9 geode clusters in order to upgrade our village once more. We are still producing refined ether. We should have plenty of stellar fertilizer. Well, actually 800 is quite a bit, but we shouldn't have too much trouble getting that. So, let's see. How do we make one of those geodes? Let me quickly check my recipes once more. It is in here somewhere, I'm pretty sure. Didn't we just unlock? Yeah, I was about to say, didn't we just unlock that? Okay, so we need a arboretum or a geode reef. Oh, this is the recipe name, I guess. Anyway, Arboretum, and then we just throw in some lava cups and coral seeds, and we should have plenty of those things. Ooh, actually, this needs to run 100 times in order to generate 5? It's just a couple of minutes though, so it's not the worst thing in the world, and if we can cool down the Arboretum to -3, then it should be running at optimal speed as well. Speaking of which, my ether over here is gonna massively be helped by the fact that I can place a single heater to heat up all of this stuff. And this means that everything is now running at 125% efficiency, so that's kind of nice. We are almost up to the 400 refined ether that we also need for the quest, so that's nice. Now, what else do we actually need? We are gonna need a couple of sparks. We need a whole bunch of slashy sparks and some crystals actually as well. But again, most importantly, we want to start building the geode cluster thing. Now, in order to do that, we need to put down an arboretum. We need some fertilizer for that. That's the word I was looking for. We apparently also need some of that refined ether. So let's just bring, a stack or so. This is exactly one. That's fine. And then what else do we need? We need one of those feeders, right? I don't know if we need them, but what do I need in order to build this? Just some basic stuff and a horn. I don't know what horn that is. Huh, that's interesting. Something else I actually don't have in my inventory yet is a Krangolin lava skill, which you also need in order to build the Arboretum. We've been fighting some of these Krangolins, but they were dropping these. So we apparently need to go back into the cave and find the lava skill version of this. Okay, well, if I'm gonna go exploring anyway, I might as well swing by the Drilly Spark Shrine, because we should be able to pick that up now. Well, I haven't found the Krangolin yet, but I did find the Drilly Spark Shrine, and apparently these are one-time use sparks that can drill through anything, including the permafrost and the obsidian. So that's gonna be pretty useful, honestly. It is important to note, though, that these things are extremely expensive to make. Look at this. We have 6 slashy sparks, so that's the upgraded slashy ones that I've been using so far. The 3 drill bits and 3 ether crystals to make 3 of these dudes. And remember, these are a one-time use thing, so yeah, we definitely want to take care about where and when we use these. I think I might not have a choice, though, because I'm running into this obsidian all over the place. So in order to be able to explore the back part of the cave over here, where I think the megalith is hiding, because, well, I've explored almost everything else. It could be here, I guess, but it feels like it's just going to be somewhere in the lava area over here. That would make sense considering the nature of the creature, but yeah, I'm gonna have to make some of those drilly sparks in order to get through there. Now, before I do that, though, I am gonna go over, where is it? Over here, and pick up the handy spark, because that will allow us to turn in another quest. Seems like the handy spark is the upgraded version, finally, of the crafty spark that we had before. Now, I am actually curious. So we need some crafty sparks, some copper ingots, and some ether crystal to make these dudes. Now, it's a 5-to-1 ratio, so that's a thing. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice option to have. Although I do think that building efficiency, honestly, is not that big of a concern at this point. Okay, I hadn't realized actually I wasn't making those ether crystals yet, but that's not a problem, because they only take a single seed, a single raw ether, and you get 10 of these ether crystals. So this is a super efficient recipe, unlike most of the others I've been making so far. So I just set up a very basic facility in order to make some, and I already have over 200 of them. So this is super easy to produce in bulk. Oh well, in the meanwhile, I got all the required materials, including the 200 slashy sparks. That's really expensive, but yeah, I got all of them that I needed for the unlock of handy and drilly sparks. So let's go and do that. And what is the new quest you gave me? You want me to give you more refined ether and 100 of these crystals that we have plenty of, and that will unlock the large waypoint. Not sure how useful that is going to be. But anyway, I still need to do some exploring in the cave, and now I can actually make my own handy sparks, or not, sorry, the drilly sparks is what I really want. I can start making my way through some of this obsidian, and I should probably also make use of those fluffy sparks I have. I completely forgot what they were called. Puffy sparks, that's what I was referring to. I was wondering if I have these soak up some water. I think I saw in the tutorial somewhere that you can douse the lava with that as well. So let's go and try that out. So it seems that the strategy is to throw a spark at this, make sure that unleashes the mist, and then we throw in one of the puffy ones. And that kind of soaks up that oxygen and then turns into one of these. So we just need to repeat that several times, I guess, and we can start making our way through the lava. Okay, let's see how far this drilly spark goes. I hope it's pretty far because I don't have many of them. So far it seems to be doing okay, but yeah, it's a little less impressive than I was hoping it was going to be. So I have a feeling I might be making a few of these because I still don't know where I'm supposed to go. Although we do have a waypoint over here. So if we can somehow turn that online, we might be able to make some use out of that. Okay, let's take it one step at a time. Oh man, after exploring all that stuff on the map and doing all that work and finding out that this is a waypoint I can't actually activate yet, I realized there were some other skulls on this map here, and there was a little bit of skulls here in the corner, and I figured I'll check that out. And while there was a snail on the bottom part, there was, look at that, a megalith grangolin on the top part. So now we're gonna have to fight that. I think that this is gonna be another matter of, you know, tossing some creatures at it. Let's make sure we have the right ones. So let's throw one at this side, then that should typically get his attention. Guys, can you like attack the correct one? Okay then. This is going to be a long fight, isn't it? Well, be right back. Okay, that took a minute, but we have the skill that we need. We have a single one, so we're gonna have to make it count. Oh, and note to self, if you attack the creature and you keep attacking the pillars it spawns, it can actually kill you somehow. I don't know. Okay, having reloaded and actually figuring out how to deal with these things does speed things up, and I also noticed that apparently you get a whole bunch of Krangolin skills from killing these guys as well, so, you know, that's a nice bonus on top of the lava skill. Okay, that takes care of the rare material I need for Arboretum, but I also need an Arboretum feeder, and for that we need another type of horn. Now, I was looking through the plateau items, and I just noticed that there's a frilled Walrus tusk in here, so I have a feeling we need to go up here to find one of them. Now, I already found the location where I'm going to be placing my Arboretum, but I actually didn't see any creatures, so let's do some more exploring. Okay, these things are apparently hiding below the sea level. That's a little scary, I have to admit. Look at that, they're just bursting through like that. Okay. Whoa, oh, hold on. Hold on, no. Don't freeze all of my dudes, please. Well, one of them didn't get frozen. I guess that's a bonus. Oh well. Again, this is gonna take me a minute. Okay, only lost a single slashy actually on that, so not too bad. Are these 3 tusks? That's a lot better than the single one I got from the megalith. Anyway, that is 3 of them down, so we should be able to build some feeders and some arboretums now, and that should allow us to start making some geode clusters. Okay then, so I built an arboretum. I built 2 of these arboretum feeders, mostly because I could, and I'm now feeding those a whole bunch of the resources I had already prepared. Now, yes, I could automate this, but honestly, there are thousands of plants already in these boxes, and I really don't want to build another train. So, anyway, still, this is going to take me a minute, actually, because as you can see, this production rate is pretty slow. I have 2 of these feeders actually automatically feeding into this thing, so that is double the speed right there. But, yeah, it's going to take a minute. At the same time, I've just built this. It's already at 12%, and it is going to produce 5 at a time, and I am making use of a heater over here to make sure the temperature is -3, which is the exact number I need in order for these to work at an optimal efficiency. So, you know, it is definitely somewhat optimized from that regard. Now, we need a total of 9 of these, I think, for the quest. Yep, and we can use the last one to actually complete, if I'm not mistaken, the tier 8 thing over here. Yeah, we are actually also going to need a handy spark for that, so let me drop that in. But as soon as we have the geode clusters in production, we can complete the tier 8 quests, or monument quests, I should say. Let me see. Did we actually complete all of the other ones? Let's see, we do need a geode cluster to complete the geode breaker 2. For the distant waypoints, we just need some ether crystal and refined ether, so I can already go and turn that one in. And yeah, then I think that the only one remaining is the village expansion. Now, well, let me double check that, because I'm actually not 100% sure. Double check. Yep, those are the last 3 quests for tier 8. Okay, it took a moment for all of those geodes to be produced, but now we have unlocked the machine range 8, which is going to give me access to, I think that's going to be probably the last sparks we get, burning and freezing sparks. I've already found the shrine, so I can just walk up to them and unlock these. But most importantly, we also have the 9 remaining clusters that we need in order to put in this box. Hello, put in the box. I know that's very hard. And then we are once again going to expand our village. Now I'm actually wondering what it is that we're gonna get. We are gonna go back to the research garden. I guess that's over there. Yep. Let's bring ourselves some sparks. And then we're gonna go right over this bridge. Where's the bridge? There. And then we are gonna finish whatever we were building here. I'm kind of sad that you can't actually really use these buildings in this village. That looks a lot better. Can I use it now? Activate the hostility overlay. Uh-oh. Are we going to be attacked? Well, I guess we're gonna find that out in the next episode. We still have quite a few quests to go as well. And we should be getting to the end of the game. Now, let me double check. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, there's only tier 10 left after this. Tier 9 actually seems to have quite a few quests. I'm kind of surprised because it feels like we've uncovered the entire map. Well, no, it doesn't just feel like it. We have uncovered the entire map, with the exception of this cave over here that we didn't really go into yet. I don't think we could go into. We have to unlock the door, so that's probably what tier 9 is going to be about. And then tier 10 is maybe something that deals with whatever is in here. I'm just guessing at this point because looks like there's a lot of buildings in there actually as well. Anyway, we're gonna have to find that out in the next episode. If you're still here, you're awesome, and I do hope to catch you in the next one.